I have been accused, of course, as any host would. I have been accused of being partisan in the past. And I can guarantee you, if this was reversed, if it was another party that was making a stink about some member of the government who was on, or a member of a Facebook group that on which somebody was making nasty or malicious or even threatening comments, I would be as adamant in condemning them as well. It's just the whole scenario is nothing short of silly and dismissible. All right, on the line right now we have Lorraine Michael, the leader of the NDP and the MHA for Signal Hill Quidi Vidi. Good evening.
Hello, Pete.
Have I said it all for you?
Yes, I was listening and thinking, well, maybe I don't need to go on. Maybe I can just not
I can't imagine that they're going to get any kind of traction with this whatsoever. The whole thing is so ludicrous. I shouldn't take words out of your mouth. You go right ahead, and I'll try to pipe in.
Well, first of all, I mean, I do want to say, as I said in the House today in the few words that I did say, that, of course, I certainly, and I mean, it even goes without saying, there is no way that Gerry Rogers, any member of our caucus, or, I would dare say our party, could condone calls for violence against anybody or against the Premier. It doesn't matter who it is.
No, of course not. The comments are reprehensible. There's no question about that.
They're totally reprehensible. I need to just say that and get it out there. But I am appalled that the government, through Darren King today, did what they did without any understanding, number one, of the Facebook, obviously no understanding of Facebook, and without any desire to try to find out if, in fact, Gerry Rogers knew that her name was on that page. And to do the kind of thing they did, to use this horrible kind of thing of the threats against the Premier as a way, and I have to say, to try to make political points is totally unacceptable. I'm in a state of shock. I really am, because in the comments of Darren King, he linked unions with the Facebook and the violence. He linked individual union members who are also members of our party with it. He named the party. The way in which he behaved was just completely unacceptable. I can't believe they did it. I really am in a state of shock. And then to make Gerry Rogers the subject of all of that was just totally reprehensible.
It's ludicrous, and I was surprised that even after taking this recess, they came back and demanded an apology. Yeah. I mean, it is beyond, reason whatsoever. Even if she joined, as I said in my preamble, even if she decided and she was going to stand as a member joining it, which is something you do in a click on Facebook, even if she decided, she's not aware of everything that was said after she joined the group. Now, she didn't. She was added to it, as I was, as I said, and I immediately got out of it. But, you're not responsible. Anybody can go on and leave a comment, and that doesn't immediately reflect on you.
No, I mean, one of the rules of law that you not say that somebody is guilty by association. Yeah. I mean, you cannot be responsible, like the example if you use of what happens at any kind of a demonstration. Sometimes you can get an individual or two behaving in a way at a demonstration you don't agree with, but you are not responsible for their behavior. And it's the same way on the Facebook. You are not responsible for what other people said. And as the Speaker of the House said, there was absolutely no way in which he could find proof that Gerry Rogers in any way said anything that was, anything of the nature that Darren King was quoting, or that she condoned it. And for them, like I said, for them to do it, it's just cheap.
I think it's embarrassing. I think it's really embarrassing. I think it's going to fall back on them hard. It's the same as you saying, for instance, that because Keith Russell was called out on his profanity in a hockey rink, then Darren King is as guilty of making profane statements as Mr. Russell because he shares a party with him and is on the same side of the house.
Exactly. Now, I had to give 1 second while I change phones.
Yep.
Okay, you there?
I am here.
Good. Well, the phone I was using was starting to...
I heard that,
yeah. Going low, yeah, so I've switched over. No, that's a perfect example. You know, where the people are the people on that side of the House, the government, they're responsible for the things that Mr. Russell was charged with. Literally, I mean, charged not in the sense of criminal, but, you know, called to accountability for. Of course they're not. And I mean, the premier said she totally disassociated herself from Mr. Russell and couldn't stand by the things that he did and the things that he said.
Absolutely.
And if she had been held accountable for him, she wouldn't have liked it. Now, and what happened today was much more serious than that, because the way in which they're talking about the violence, I mean, the way in which Mr. King talked about it, he actually does make it sound like that Gerry totally supported the violence. I mean, people, you know, I can't believe it. I'm here sitting with the Hansard in front of me, reading and rereading what he said and saying, no, he couldn't possibly have said that.
I tell you, it's a real disappointment, something I certainly didn't expect from him. There are some I wouldn't have been surprised, but I did think Mr. King was. We are looking for anybody to really come on and try to defend what he said in the House today, because I think it's just indefensible.
Well, it is indefensible, and I mean, I suppose I can understand why he maybe does not understand Facebook. I don't understand all the stuff of social media either, but I do know that anybody can put your name on a lot of sites. There's some sites you can. So, for example, you can have closed sites. We, as most political parties have a public site and a closed site, and only members can be part of the closed site. But an open site like this one, I don't even know the name of it, an open site like that, anybody can put my name there, for example, and if they're not a friend of mine, I won't get notified. Mm-hmm. If they are a friend, one gets notified. But our technologist, who is in charge of our social program, our social media, our technologist has definitely shown that the person who it looks like put Gerry's name up is not a name that any of us knows, and the person is not a friend of anybody in our caucus.
Yeah, I've got a picture of that right here that shows the person's name. In any event, people can also turn off their notifications, so that even if you're part of a group, you can decide, as I do with most of the groups. I'm only in a few groups, but I turn off the notifications, so I'm just not getting them all the time.
Exactly.
So I don't know when anybody has added something or said something or submitted a picture or anything like that. I'm just not aware of it unless I go back and click into the group.
That's right, exactly. And you could tell from some of the, I was reading some of the responses on the Facebook today, like my own Facebook, on my page. People who are on Facebook just sort of, I don't mean laughing at the issue, but just sort of not believing that government could be taking Facebook in the way they were and saying that an individual is responsible for the thousands of people who might be on a certain site. And the way in which the minister talked about it, you join this group because you believe in this group, blah, blah, blah. That's not...
Yeah, and every last single thing that anybody who wants to get on and rant and spill their bile wants to say, it's just, I was incredulous when I saw what he was trying to say, and I thought, wow, you are going to wear this because this is silly. There's no defending this, no matter how you try.
And they absolutely deserve to wear it, because what they did today is completely unacceptable. And I mean, people, I think, who have any thoughts at all are seeing that the Twitter world went crazy, Facebook has gone crazy,
and the waste of time and money to recess the House and then to come back after you're supposed to take the time to figure out really what's going on, how it works, and how ludicrous it is to come back and say owes anybody an apology. It's the Speaker owes one to Gerry Rogers.
Well, certainly I believe that the government owes one to her for sure. They should be apologizing to her for what they did today, because they tried to take, well, I don't know if they tried to take away her character, but certainly by what they did, they really did, put stuff out there that could have worked against her character. But anybody who knows Gerry, who knows her history, who knows the decades that she's worked against violence and knows her as a person, knows that she couldn't possibly say what the stuff that was read out today from that Facebook.
They all know that. We know they all know that. They were just caught in a blatant, transparent, paper-thin example of gamesmanship. They're just, really playing it badly, and playing it to their detriment. Ms. Michael, we have to run. I appreciate your call. I'm sure we're going to get lots of feedback on this tonight, and I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you very much, Pete. I'm glad to have the opportunity to show support for the member of my caucus, of whom I'm very proud.
Have a great night.
Thanks. Bye-bye.